This was the dark place. I hadn't remembered it before, but now I did. Remembered enough. I had written a manuscript, a novel. It contained the key to my survival, what I had learned about the enemy I faced, how to fight him. I had to track down the manuscript. Everything depended on it. Someone, maybe it had been me before I forgot, had left me clues to follow. I could sense them all around. I had to find them, shine a light on them to reveal the truth. I was trapped here. Had been for what felt like years. Outside time and space, outside reality. What we count as real. There were clues here, written by me to myself to find a way forward. I could trust this. I had to trust this. The payphone was ringing. Somehow, I knew the call was for me.
Hello? Hello? Are you open?
Yes?
Alan Wake. This is Tom Zane. You don't remember, but I'm a friend. Listen, this is very important. Do you have the manuscript? It's
Zane,
vitally important.
Stop. I remember everything since our last call. I know more now.
You what? You remember? Oh, this is Listen to me, Alan. This is a breakthrough, but dangerous as well. You must not break the flow. This is part of the structure created by your manuscript for a vital purpose. The dark place operates in loops. You must bear with it. If you break the established order of things, awful
Zane.
things will happen. We will lose our progress.
I'm losing you.
Hello, Alan Wake. This is Alan Wake. We hunt the same thing. I am close now. I can feel it. The manuscript. Alice. I'm with her now. She is waiting for the train at Underwood Station.
Fuck off! Alice escaped! She's out safe, and I am coming for you, fucker!
Underwood subway station. That's where Scratch said he was. I needed to get there. He is after the manuscript as well. I remembered saving Alice, getting her out of the dark place. But how could I be sure? I had to check. There were lights here that could cut through the darkness of this place and create a way forward. The lamp I had could take a light and move it where it was needed. Once I had used the clicker, a mystical light switch to destroy the dark presence. The clicker was lost now. But it had once been a part of the lamp. I wrote this story. Even if I didn't remember it, I could do it again. I could reconstruct it, retrace my steps from the clues that I'd find. Would I have written this? What happens next? I'd be able to sense my way through it. Is Wake the hero of the story? Is he the victim? Comes down to the genre. There's a murderer at large. Scratch. He wears the face of our protagonist. Wake follows clues and messages. He's not in control. He's being taken on a ride. Led to where? To slaughter? To a revelation? Deeper down the spiral into the heart of darkness where the truth awaits. The terrifying, blindingly bright truth that will sear his brain. Wake must follow the clues. Is he stuck in a loop? A tragedy? Suffering from dementia? Forced to face the same horrors again and again? But what's the alternative? To fade away? Forget? And still be forever trapped in the nightmare? Now that'd be a tragedy. Suddenly, Wake isn't forgetting. For the first time in ages. Why now? Because something has changed. What? The manuscript. It must be. The manuscript that is true and can change things has finally been written. Finally been finished. It's out there. It exists. With the manuscript, the game is now on. Having written it, Wake is a character in it. So why doesn't he remember? By design. It has to be. Everything is written for a reason. Remembering would ruin the story. He must trust the story. He must follow the cues, the plot. He must play the part of Alan Wake in this story. The writer is a sculptor, chiseling away the lies to reveal the hidden true shape of reality. The writer is a detective, piecing together the clues to find the awful crime. The writer is a shrink and a priest, shining a light at the darkest corners of the mind, the soul, to reveal the disorder, the demon inside. The writer writes a story that resonates and is true. So true it's more true than reality. So true it changes reality. Even if it is just a construct of fiction and lies. This was where Underwood Station should have been. But it was not. I needed to make it reveal itself. My enemy. This whole place is devious. A shadow that slithers in. When you think you know where you're going, it has a way of flipping reality upside down to make you lose your way.
You're the killer, the cult leader. You tried to hide it, but I saw it in your eyes.
No! Scratch is getting away. My wife's there.
I'm just tired. I just want this to be over. I'm sorry. It's my fault. This dark place in my head for so long. The fucked up things. Sometimes I forget the pain is there. Like it's normal. That's bullshit. Like it's flipped. I'm not in a dark place. I am the dark place. The source of all this. The vessel. We're very much the same.
This place keeps pushing me under. Getting into my head. Poisoning me with darkness. I have to find a way to escape before it's too late. Too late again. I felt a current in my arm. A magnetic pull between my lamp and the street lamp. The light shifted from the street lamp to my lamp. Jumped, like something in a dream. I felt the electric current in the lamp again. I could use it here, with the store window. I never left. Impossibly, it was the same station. Caught in a loop. This was not the way. Something needed to change first. No Alice here. Just an echo. With her eyes scratched out. Scratch. No way back anymore. I had to find a way forward. Scratch had left something waiting for me. This is where I'll find the next clue. Cauldron Lake spring water. It felt important. Like something from a half-forgotten dream or from a previous life. It was a way forward.
Your train is now arriving. Please stand away from the platform edge.
Damn, there was something here with me. Hunting me. A dark presence. Something alien. A monster. It had stolen from me, and what it had taken, it was twisting. It wanted more. Everything. It already wore my face. Scratch. Mr. Scratch. I was back where I started. Was this another loop? No. Things felt different. The map of the city changing in dreamlike ways. Not a loop. A spiral. I was making progress. Mirror Peak nightclub. An echo of something. That's where I was going. Another loop. Once, a long time ago, with my celebrity lifestyle spiraling out of control, I'd spent my nights in places like this. This had been my scene. Now it was Scratch's. The more progress I made here, the more I attracted the dark presence to me. It was hunting me. It was getting closer. The clues Scratch left when I found them were like trackers to draw it to me. He wanted to stop me. I had to keep going. The VIP section was Scratch's domain. This was a clue. The bathroom. Ladies' room by the looks of it. Fuck. 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 Stop! Wake had fallen asleep. He ran on autopilot. He was numb. Nothing felt like anything anymore. Nothing left a mark. Nothing left a memory. An endless loop in a haze. A spiral into oblivion. Where am I? Who am I? Until, lucky or cursed, a spark of light, the thunder of the last key hitting the paper, and the shock of silence that followed. An act of creation. An act of violence. Changing things forever. Forcing something to be born. forcing him to draw a breath, forcing Wake to return, waking him up to the horror. Wake had the compulsion to write, like a sickness. Why? Two opposing reasons. The war between light and darkness in him. One, to create art. The story was everything. The perfect, true piece of fiction. And with that, to vanish, made meaningless in the face of his creation. Two, to be seen. To reach out. Dig inside the heads of every reader. To force them to love him. To worship him. To control their minds. And the whole world with it. He'd written for both goals. Felt good in both cases, in that state of flowing ideas. The best rush he'd ever felt. Reaching inside, losing himself. Like automatic writing. Like hearing music. Like someone else writing. Like falling. Sinking into a dream. And if it was a dark story, reaching into the darkness inside, the bad parts in him, and the bad parts suddenly had meaning and purpose. Putting those things on the page, they no longer felt bad. Felt like you were in harmony. Wake had fallen asleep, a spiral into oblivion, until, lucky or cursed, a spark of light, an act of creation, an act of violence, waking him up to the horror. Wake had the compulsion to write, like a sickness, dig inside the heads of every reader, to control their minds, reaching into the darkness inside.
Wake had fallen asleep. He ran on autopilot. He was numb. Wake had fallen asleep. He ran on autopilot. He was numb. Nothing felt like anything anymore. The spiral into oblivion. Where am I? Who am I?
To control their minds, the bad parts in him, reaching into the darkness inside, sinking into a dream. Where am I? Who am I? Spiral into oblivion! Nothing felt like anything anymore. To force them to love him, like a sickness. Meaningless in the face of his creation. Dig inside the heads of every reader. He was numb. Wake had fallen asleep. He ran on autopilot. Wake had fallen asleep.
I was back in a familiar place again, one layer deeper. Closer to where I was going. It was always the phone. It wasn't the payphone this time. The ringing telephone was somewhere in the building next to me. The ringing came from an upstairs apartment.
You're such a nice young man, Mr. Wake. Oh, Ellen. Yes, Ellen. Do you think that I have a famous writer as a neighbor? And such wonderfully written stories. So exciting. The mysteries and all the chases and the gunfights. Gets your blood pumping, it does. More tea, Mr. Wake, Ellen. To think I have a celebrity in my home. So nice of you to come say hello. You shouldn't have. Thank you so much for the book. I will treasure it always. Come back soon, anytime. It does get lonely here sometimes, on my own.
It wasn't me. It was Scratch pretending to be me. It was disgusting. It felt like my brain was dislocated. Another loop. This was the same apartment, but the right way around.
Hello, who's there? Is there someone there? Go away. Please. I have no money. I'm calling the police. Why are you doing this? Help somebody help. I thought you were a nice man.
You son of a bitch.
This is for your education. Watch and listen. Watch and listen. You are looking the wrong way.
Fucking fuck shit! The sounds were now coming from down the corridor. Damn. Oh my God. Scratch had left me a new line of the poem. I didn't understand it, I didn't like it, but it was hugely important. It was a key to travel through the dark place. I'd write down the poem. It would take me where I needed to be. The writer wants the story to be true. It's easy to start believing it, especially here. The map versus the territory. The poem was a map. It was taking me somewhere dark. I was trapped here. Had been for what felt like years. Outside time and space, outside reality. What we count as real. Everything was heavy with meaning in this place. Nothing was here by chance. Nothing was unrelated. I had to trust these signs, follow them, no matter where they took me. I could piece it together in my writer's room. I had left a light in the lamp store window above. I could get it from there. The spring water can was a clue. A revelation swimming just out of reach. I could figure it out in the writer's room. The payphone was ringing again. A matchbook from a nightclub. I felt a surge of claustrophobic panic. These stairs would never end. The walls were definitely edging closer the deeper I went. I saw a vision of myself getting stuck between them, having traveled down an impossible distance. The painting marked my destination. It might have looked like my portrait, but it wasn't. It was Scratch. Meet me in the bathroom. Your #1 fan. Hidden messages from Scratch's #1 fan. The bag of drugs fit the scene perfectly. I'd had my share of crazy nights in the past. This whole place felt like I was tripping. The bill went with the drugs. To understand it, to change the plot and the world around me, I had to put the symbols in their place in the writer's room. Money is a powerful symbol, but the bill was just a utensil for the drug. I recognized the symbol on the bag. Scratch's cult. To melt their minds with his. I was certain that all the symbols had a meaning and a purpose here. But which would be the way forward? Things were not clicking into place. That's it. This was how it was meant to go. The street had changed. The Lady of the Light sign on both sides mirrored. The apartment on the 3rd floor had the lights on.
Hey! You there!
That was him. Scratch. I was close. There were more lamps here than in the store down the street. Everything was mirrored here. From the sign outside to my book. The ringing was louder now. 1 floor up.
Lost on the shore between the forest and the ocean. The owl and the deer reflected in motion.
I had to add the new line to the poem in the writer's room. Lost on the shore between the forest and the ocean. The owl and the deer reflected in motion. The writer of the first word, not the writer of the last. With the terror of the light and the shadow cast. The third eye now open to project the night. This is the moment to write. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. Lost on the shore between the forest and the ocean. The owl and the deer reflected in motion. In his room, he will hurt her. In hers, he is caught. His story ends. Her story does not. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you're gone. A pale balloon in the sky. Float and sink deeper. Night springs when bright falls for this sleeper. The surface disturbed, the reflection now a traitor. In the cavity of the skull turned to a crater. This is the ritual to lead you on. Your friends will meet him when you're gone.